so I thought, sorry about the lighting, I know it's not perfect, but I've got my window here, the natural light's coming in right here, and this is kind of the only place I can film that looks somewhat decent, so I'm sorry about the lighting. So yeah, but I thought I would film a reading recap video. I'm just getting my iPad up as I've got the 4 books that I read on my iPad on GoodNotes and on Goodreads. So yeah, so I had a TBR this month. I didn't film it, or no, I filmed it but I just didn't get around to editing it. But I'll tell you the books that were on my TBR for the month. So I had 6, 4 that were picked out with prompts and 2 that were picked because I wanted to just finish them because I started them either last year or the year before that I just wanted it over and done with. I read 3 out of the 4 books on my TBR, and I'm currently still reading one of the books on my TBR. Another one I will be reading early next month. Okay, I'm trying to be a bit quiet for the time being as my sister's in the bathroom, but I've just relocated because the lighting was kind of annoying me. But as I was saying, I had 6 books. I've read 3, like finished 3. I've read 4 books this month. For me, that is like the most I've read / listened to in a month. And I've read 12 books so far this year, which is the most I've ever read. As someone who likes to read but doesn't read a massive amount, this is massive for me. So yeah, so I thought I'd tell you the 6 books on my TBR, and then I'll tell you what I've read. So I had, and like the prompts that were with it, so I had Wildfire by Hannah Grace, the dual POV. I read Icebreaker in 2023, so it's kind of like a good standalone, but also part of a series. And yeah, that was dual POV. Then the next prompt was author I have never read before, was The Lost Man by Jane Harper. Did not read, did not touch. I'm kind of scared to touch it because it's more of a romance fantasy girly now. The next pick was a romance pick, which was Daydream, which is the last and final book in the Maple Hill series, which is the book that Wildfire is a part of. The next book is Less Than 300 Pages, which was Powerful by Lauren Roberts, which is part of the Powerless series, but it's a novella, so it's not like, it's like book 1.5 because it follows the same timeline as Powerless, but it's in Powerful, and got like a different POV, but that was less than 300 words. Then the next 2 books are books I want to finish. One was A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J Maas, which I'm still reading, and I'll probably finish tomorrow. So just at the start of July, I'm on page 131 of 416, so I'm not quite halfway. I'm not in. If you want this, it's from Kmart or Target. And then the last book was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I have finished. And a good chunk of these books I've taken about about a week or just over a week to finish, apart from The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I'll start with, I'll go in order of when I finished everything. Yeah, also, I don't have a tripod, so you're literally, since I got a new computer recently, you're literally on the box from the computer, then on top of 3 books. So, yes. So the first book that I read this month, which I didn't actually start reading this month. When did I start reading it? I started reading it on the 14th of May and finished on the 8th. And I rated it 5 stars. So yeah, so this is the book. I have the paper copy as well. This I got from Kmart. I have 3 out of the 4 books in this series in hardcover and Powerless, and Fearless soon will hopefully be, well, not hopefully, will be the only 2, that I have the paper copy for. So I have, this is the sleeve, just thought I'd show you. I love it. And then this is the book, like the hardcover. So yeah, so I honestly loved the series. Like my dad, I've kind of like always liked reading, but this book in of itself, like my dad, my favourite book is like book that I've read has been, like series that I've read is the Empyrean series, aka Fourth Wing, and that's not complete yet. I love that. Enemies to Lovers, but I like the Powerless series on the same level as the Empyrean because it's 2 very different things. It's kind of like Enemies to Lovers for both, but for Fourth Wing it's like by the end of book 1 they're in a relationship. They are in a relationship, but with Powerless they're not in a relationship, and it's kind of like at the end betrayal, like kind of that stuff. So it kind of leaves it hanging on what actually happens with the relationship. Like I know what happens because I've kind of spoiled it for myself, but I don't know how they get there exactly. But I loved it. The tension throughout the series was amazing. Like the fact that there was no like romance or anything was amazing. So yeah, so the next book I read was Powerful, which is the novella between Powerless and Reckless. So I started reading it on the 9th of June and finished it on the 17th. And this one I only have the hardcover for, got it from Kmart. And this I honestly love, and I love this as well. I like that's really amazing. I read it today. Rated it. I don't remember what I rated it. I also rated this 5 stars. I honestly loved it. I don't know why it took me as long as it did, but it did. I loved it, even though I knew the ending. I don't think it's spoilers, but like I said, Powerful follows the same storyline as Powerless, like timeline, but it doesn't follow the 2 main characters. It follows Payton's friend and someone she meets, and it kind of follows that timeline. Like you know the ending of the book because the ending is in Powerless. Like the ending of the book is in Powerless. Like it's not like the last page in Powerless, but it's at the very end. So you know this ending of this, but exactly like how she lives her life after Payton goes is very interesting to see. Like I said, 5 stars. I love this book. The whole series so far I'm loving. And Reckless is on my TBR for next month. As I film my TBR, which you'll see after this, I filmed it on the 19th and it's currently the 30th of June, so I filmed that a little while ago. So yeah, so the next book in the series, the next book that I read was Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I rated it 4.5 stars, so if you don't know what this book is about, it's basically about, this is the blurb, like kind of from the blurb, the two main characters cross paths at like a college party, have a one night stand and sleep together, and then they end up at a summer camp together, and then because they ended up working at the same camp together, there's like a no fraternization policy. So yeah, but they kind of, you follow their romance, and it's kind of like a lot of tension that I like. But the one thing I like about this series is saying that I haven't read a series like it before. Like I've read a photo finish, which I know is part of a series, but which is in a similar thing to this, but it's like standalones, but like you follow different characters. Like the main characters are different in each story, but like you see people that you've seen in like other books. So yeah, but I loved it. I rated it 4.5 stars because I was still passing the book where I'm like, like I just didn't like certain parts, but like I loved it thoroughly. Like I would 100% recommend it to people. This I started reading on the 17th and I read through to the 25th of June. So yeah, so the last book that I read or finished this month was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I have hardback, got it from Target, it's just like sprayed edges. This I rated 3 stars. I liked it, don't get me wrong, but I didn't love it. Like there were parts where I did get bored throughout the book. I was tempted to DNF, but I'm just like, I just want to continue, get it over and done with. So yeah, I didn't love it. Like I started it November, like at the end of November in 2023. Like it's taken me a year and a half to read. Like I just did not love it. Like I get why people like it, like yeah, but I just did not like it. Like it just wasn't for me. Like it's a historical fiction art, but I just didn't like it. Like I just didn't love it, which is kind of sad because I read After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I can't remember if I loved it or not, but I feel like I enjoyed that After I Do a lot more than Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Yeah, it just wasn't for me. Like, so yeah, that are the 4 books that I read / finished this month. I will past me to pick out my TBR for the month of July. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you kind of like these types of videos. I might make 2 separate ones in the future, one being my book recap and one being my TBR, but I know at the time being it's going to be like 20 minutes long with both inside, like with both included, so yes, but yeah. So this is my July TBR. Sorry if you can hear a heater or hear that dog whining, and sorry if the outfits are different from my reading recap. It's because we're filming these on different days. I'm also sorry for the makeup. I've got all my prompts in here. There are 2 prompts that I don't have in here that I have written, which I think the prompt is book with less than 300 pages and a male author. I do have, I think, a few books that I haven't read by a male author, but one of them is part of the Maze Runner series. I don't know where the Maze Runner book is and I haven't read that yet, so I'm leaving that. And then there's a few other books that are up here that on my bookshelves that I haven't read that I don't have on my cart here on the shelf. So yes, I also have 6 books that I picked. It'll probably be the video before this as I haven't started editing it, like my TBR for the next 6 months of the books that I want to kind of read over the next 6 months. It's 6 books that I'll still do a TBR for each month. For this month I set 6, 4 that I picked out of my TBR jar / basket, and then 2 that I was still reading. And that, as much as I love having that many books, at the pace that I read, that's probably a bit much, but I will try to finish all those books by the end of the month. I've only read one book in my TBR but finished 2 books this month. So yeah, so I might actually have 5 books instead of 4, but it will be 4 prompts that I purposely set for that pick for that month, and then maybe try and focus on trying to read one of the books on my TBR. So I've also added more prompts in here, so let's start with the first book. Prompt being a book with a beautiful cover. Ooh, can I move this? I really like the cover of a fine print. Let me just see if there's any other covers that I really love. There are definitely books that I have with beautiful covers, but I might go just with the fine print by Laura and Asher, because it's just like the nicest book. Like it's a really, I really like the cover. It's really beautiful. So yeah, so that's book 1. I think that's also part of a series. So yeah, there's also some books on here that I have on my shelf that I haven't read, that if I pick out any prompt and it suits, then I'll pick it. So yes. Next prompt is a book with a blue cover. Should have done the fine print. I have a few. I also have like a few books that are mainly blue covers. Like I've got Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I don't have Assassin's Blade, but I might try and read that third. But there is this, and there is a Deadly Education. This is on my 6-month TBR thing, so I might choose this because this, as much as I love Deadly Educations, I feel like probably a better choice. And it also means, like, if I pick a prompt that where I can pick a book for my 6-month TBR, I will do it. So that is Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. That's probably butchering it, so I'm sorry. That'll be my second book. So I will still probably pick 3 more because I've got one off my TBR. The next prompt is the next book in a series. So none of the books on my TBR are the next in a series. They're either the start of a series, in the middle of a series that I haven't started yet, like Powerless by Eloise Silva. That's probably wrong, but I have a book that isn't on here. I'll quickly get it. Is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I had Powerful, which is like the novella between Powerful, Powerless and Reckless, on my June TBR. This is a hardback which I got from Kmart. They have hardbacks of Powerless, Powerful and Reckless. They don't have Fearful yet. I think Fearless, I think it is. Like the 4th book, but like the 3rd book in the series, but like the 4th book. So I'll pick this book. It wasn't on my TBR because I hadn't read it. But this is the like sleeve, which I really love, and then there's this side. Like that is utterly stunning. Like, look at this. Like, this is utterly stunning. So just want to make sure. So yeah, I'll pick this as the next book in the series because it's the only book that I have in the next book. Well, it's not the only book. I have Hunger Games Catching Fire, but I want to reread the Hunger Games before I read that. I also have Wondersmith, which is the next book in a series, but I want to read Nevermore again because I started reading Wondersmith, but like ages ago, but I just didn't finish it. Another one. The next one is Proof, different things. A book that doesn't start with the word the. Might do Throne of Glass, which I kind of want to start, so it's probably a good thing. And then I can, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do have quite a few books on here. And the last and final prompt is a book with multiple POVs. I might do Spiral, which is a hockey ballerina timeline. And I think this might be another book on my 6-month TBR. Let me check. Yes, so I have 2 on here of my 6-month TBR for the rest of the year. So the reason I picked this one originally for my 6-month TBR was a sports romance and then a deadly education. What was that? Shortest book on my TBR. So let's go through my July TBR. A book with multiple POVs, Spiral by Belle. I'm going to butcher the last name, but this is the book. Throne of Glass. A book that doesn't start with the word the. Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Next book in the series. And then a book with a blue cover. And last but not least, a book with a beautiful cover. So I've got this. So that's my July TBR. Hope you enjoyed the video though.